Hello, hello. Welcome to With Wisdom. We're heading towards the end of the month of October. All those leaves are beginning to really drop. I think in the Northern Hemisphere, because of the very warm summer we've had this year, the colours have been absolutely joyful. You know, the reds and the golds and the yellows, and they have really heartened my soul and my whole being as I've been walking through my kind of local landscape. And we're here to share a somatic technique with you. And hello to my lovely Gabby. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Nice to hear that over there there's lovely colors and light. Over here it's also nice from time to time, sometimes gray and rainy, but there's still some beautiful colors to enjoy. And the late flowers, no, there are some flowers that are still blooming in
Definitely.
this time of the year, which are gorgeous.
And it's up to us, I think, to really look for those and open up our eyes to take in the beauty that's around us. And in our world of overwhelm and rushing and busy, 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 just taking a step out away from our screens and our phones and just connecting with the outer world around us is just such a balm. And it's like we were talking before we put the record on. You were having a cough sweet to just soothe your throat. I mean, we have nature that will soothe our soul if we just allow that kind of balm and that medicine, that medicinal beauty of nature to come into us.
Yeah.
And even with the sort of dying, the leaves dying and being let go, that in itself can provide that medicinal benefit through the colors and the reminder. Just sometimes we just have to not try to be everything to everybody and let some stuff go.
Yeah, listening to you, it came to my mind. These days I have been meditating, so I'm training again Bagua-chan, which I started to learn 5 years ago with my Qigong teacher. And from my window in the living room, I can see one tree. And since I doing standing meditation, it has been a beautiful thing to be in communication or conversing with this tree through the times I'm standing there and observing also, when the winds come and it's waving and moving through the winds, and maybe I'm also like I have been with a cold, and so it has been a way to come together. Even if I have been these past days because I was sick at home, I was still enjoying from this contact with the outer life through my window and this conversation with the tree, and seeing how some of the leaves are going, and how life goes through these different seasons.
I love that phrase you said about come together. And there is, even though you may not be aware, both of you are connecting in one way with each other through the movement of the tree, through your own movements when you're doing your qigong. So there's a connection there that is kind of a relationship. There's a relationship between the two, and relationships, I think, really is the focus of our talk today. Because as we come to the end of the year, and for some people who may be feeling that they're in the the autumn part of their life in terms of their lifespan, sometimes we find that those relationships haven't gone quite to plan, and there's a need to occasionally learn to let those relationships go in a way that is beneficial to ourselves and the other person who may be related, in this relationship or this kind of conflict that might have happened. And that's not always possible. That isn't always possible. And so when we have these kind of residual kind of leftovers of difficult conversations or difficult relationships, again, I'm moving around my heart area, my hand instinctively goes here, we hold them here, and it can bring sadness to us. Now, not to say that sadness is an emotion that we will always want to discard, but it's finding some peace and acceptance around some of those relationships that we may not necessarily be able to resolve. And it might be because the person has died. It might be because the person is in a different organization, if it's a workplace disagreement that's happened. Or it might be that for whatever reason, that relationship cannot be resolved, and it's somebody in your life right now, maybe a family member, that you cannot resolve for one reason or another. But that feels sometimes quite like kind of a weight that we can carry within us. Do you understand? And I'm not to ask you what that might be, but have you got similar circumstances in your life that you can relate to? Yeah, and I definitely have got them in my life. And so this is an opportune time in autumn, is where, again, we're talking about the Western Hemisphere, the Northern Hemisphere, where the light is beginning to, winter is definitely coming, darkness is here. There are lots of bonfire rituals that happen at this time of the year, and you'll have fireworks celebrations, so there's a lot of light and fire. So there's something around maybe using the fire that we kind of start to see around this season, although that's not the energy. We're using the metal energy of the Chinese wisdom, the metal energy to cut, but to cut in a way that provides some respite and resource as well for ourselves. So it's a writing exercise I'm going to invite you to do, Gabby, today. We're going to start off with bringing ourselves into the body by doing some orienting into the space. Have you got a piece of paper and a pen available to you?
Yeah. Can I just add something about the fire that you mentioned?
Yes.
I said, always mention Chinese medicine. So what the system I work with, or this lens I work with, the fire is the regulator of metal, so it helps. I mean, this image or what you are proposing is quite powerful, because you are taking something that it might be heavy or causing sadness, which is the prevalent emotion of grief and sadness of metal, to the fire to transform it. And that's the dance between the fire and the metal, no? That the metal becomes not so rigid, and stuck. Then the fire helps to warm the metal and make it more movable, no? When it's in balance, no? When you're not using the fire to not feel the metal. But in this balance is a powerful image, and a very again showing how there's innate wisdom in all of us, no?
Lovely. Okay, so first of all, we're going to get ourselves settled back, and I'm going to do this with you. So with all of our somatic practices that we share with you, we want to kind of remind ourselves and get ourselves into the body. So if your feet aren't on the floor, put your feet on the floor, and maybe if you can slip your shoes off, or your slippers off. So you're really making contact with the ground. Just give your toes a little bit of a wriggle to remind them that they're there. And we actually really love our toes and our heels and everything around our feet, that we can feel that sensation of the floor beneath us. And then we settle back into the chair, and we notice the way that our chair is supporting us and holding us firm. And as we're sort of feeling much more secure with the ground and the chair, then we take our eyes around the room that we're in, and let our eyes kind of just connect with whatever it finds beneficial, beautiful, uplifting, reassuring, as we take our eyes around our room and we notice how we are in this space. And then taking your attention back to your feet again, noticing the sensation of your feet, noticing whether there's any weariness in them, or vigor and energy. And then taking your attention to your calves and your thighs and the way that you are being supported by your chair. And as you take your attention up your spine to your shoulders and letting them drop a little bit, noticing your arms and your hands, which may be on your lap or on your desk in front of you, and taking your attention to the top of your head, noticing your body as it's taking up space in this beautiful room that you're in, and then swallowing your attention down inside your body, into your mouth, down through your esophagus, past your lungs and your heart, into your stomach and into your lower gut. And here, taking a deep breath and bringing to mind a relationship that you have had with someone which may not have been the way that you would have desired. And this person may be living or dead, close to you or far away. And for one reason or another, you're unable to have the conversation you would love to have to resolve this challenge. So I'm going to invite you now, Gabby, to pick up your pen and write a phrase, a couple of, just a phrase. You don't have to be, it's up to you if you want to write sentences of something that you would like to say immediately to this person if they were sitting in front of you right now. It could be a one word. It could be sharing an emotion that you're feeling about this conversation or this relationship. It could be how you might wish to, the way that you might wish to hold them in your hands or in your arms. You might wish to share a notion of what you would have liked to have happened with this relationship. And it may be that you might wish to write the words that you really need to say to them right now. And that may be words which may feel harsh. It may feel that you need to release some of that anger, if there was anger in this relationship, or sadness, jealousy, some of those more base emotions that we kind of want to shut away and imagine that we don't have when we all have them. But I'd like you to clarify what you want to say to them, what needs to be said for you. And if, when you're writing, and this is an if, and I have underlined if there, you find something shining and golden that you actually have never had the opportunity to share to them, that there may be something, a piece of gold that you would like to share with them about that relationship that neither you nor they ever saw, that you've just spotted, that you could now pick up and gift to them as part of this conversation. Now I'm going to invite you to put your pen down. And as you put your pen down and your hands are in your lap, just have a read of what's in front of you. Say, read the words in your head. Just notice any feelings of letting go that may be happening in your body. And if it helps, put your hands out and then just shake it off. Mm. And Gabby, I'm not going to ask you to share what you've written. But what I would ask you is maybe now is a chance to let this go. Now, if we were outside and you had a box of matches, this is an opportunity for you to light that piece of paper and watch it burn. And then it's a chance of you just watching the ash just blow in the wind and let it go. As a chance of letting go of that conversation that may have been weighing down on your shoulders. But because we're inside, one other way we can do this is for you, if you choose to, I'm not asking you to do it unless you want to pick up your piece of paper and to rip it up into many, 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 many different pieces of paper, and then holding it and letting it go.
Okay, can I do it now or?
Yes, if you are ready to do that, that'd be wonderful.
Let me. Yeah. Already by writing it, it was already quite freeing.
Mm.
There are some things that we don't dare to say to others, but also to ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. And are you ripping it now? Oh, I can see your hands moving. Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, when it gets a bit thick, you might have to, yes. And when you feel it's enough,
Right.
there.
Okay.
Lovely. Lovely.
I can like.
If you want to. Oh, perfect. Now, a little extension of this before we go into any reflections, a little extension is that you could pick up those pieces of paper and stick them into a journal. And this is something that I've done with a creative artist, Maura Scott. And we've painted, you can paint over them with a paintbrush, just cover it all up and then just journal over again, then cover it up and put something beautiful over that. So you know that that conversation is there. It's something that you've kind of worked through, and then you've created something beautiful out of it. And I asked you to see if there was a little nugget of gold that maybe you could share as a gift. If that came up, would that be lovely if you're happy to share, or just generally, what did you feel in the process of writing, stopping and ripping up? Maybe some of those body sensations you may have felt.
Yeah, what I felt, it's as I said, it's nothing that I didn't know, but the possibility to write it down and allow myself to recognize some things that I was not willing to recognize about myself and my responsibility in the way this relationship went, and be witness of that without the judgment and guilt that I used to have. It felt free and like a river that is now flowing in my body and my being. And listening to you, I was thinking, it's not the only time, but it's how this writing, it also allows to free the other person from the stories I made myself up in my head. You know, I don't think we do it on purpose or because we're bad or something. It's just we have certain narratives about what things went, how things went, and writing something down. It's like another story, and the exercise you propose, it looks beautiful because it's like seeing that we are a process, and even the stories we have about a relationship is a living process that we can retell, and depending on the moment of the day or your life you are in, you can tell us a different thing about that, right? So yeah, I feel my shoulders lighter.
Lovely.
My chest also freeing, and I feel like something get now moving more. No, I free myself from the story I was saying, and also the other person. So it already is a big thing.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's something around that freeing up, because part of autumn is about we talked about this in our earlier episodes, composting. And in the composting, we are letting go of all the things that really are not so helpful and then holding on to the kernels of things that are. And as we move into the winter months, we want to nurture some of that goodness. So out of these challenging conversations, there will be learning for us. There'll be individual learnings for ourselves about how we enter into similar conversations if we find ourselves in very challenging conversations in the future. What might we bring from that old conversation that we cannot resolve, that we can bring in here to help us forge a much clearer path? And part of the metal energy is about clarity and cleanness and cutting back. So we're using some of that metal energy to support us in navigating future conversations.
Yeah, and think about it, it's a part of also the metal, if it's in balance, is the judgment, no? You become judgmental, no? Because metal gives you the set of values that are guiding to your life. So you can also link it to sometimes to the father archetype or something. So the value system, your structure, how you move in the world. So when you are too rigid, then you become too judgmental. But on the other side, the other gift of what in this kind of exercise is to what I experience, because I have been doing a lot of work also, is how being able to recognize certain things with compassion, with less judgment, and then you have discernment, and this discernment is what allows you to, that's the other side of the coin, not from judging, is having really the discernment, this is ready to go and can nourish other things, and this is valuable to keep for myself and for the future relationships and the relationships I have now. Yeah.
Thank you, Gabby, and thank you to all the people who are watching. And we really hope that you find this activity useful. Clearly, we're not saying just hold it on to autumn time in terms of the year, because when you come to the end of any kind of relationship or project, we can use this as a way of letting go before we start the growth cycle again. So this can be used at any time of the year, and it's a very powerful resource that we have at our fingertips that we can use. The ability to write, the ability to rip up and let go.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. And thank you, everybody. See you next Wednesday. And please let us know what was your experience in the comments, or share it with someone that you think may benefit from this. And please subscribe to keep sharing our wisdom. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.